Welcome back, everybody. I still have my good buddy Cody Grable here with me, and this is going to be part 2.
Yay!
So I know that beyond Moose Bite and music itself, you obviously have a life outside of that, beyond work too. And as great as it is to finally have you over here, I hate that it has taken 9, 7, 6 months, something crazy since last time we got to hang out and play D&D.
No shit. With work and everything, yeah.
If I remember right, it was a holiday issue, and then a birthday or something, and then another holiday, because it was around Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
so
it's just all the
one holiday.
Yeah, all the holidays, and then it was everyone's and that, and everybody's usually mostly in the group had kids.
Yeah.
So it's okay, yeah, you want to. It's holidays, I get it.
Oh yeah,
kids and family,
all the travel, all that good jazz. When did you start playing D&D? Because versus me coming over and getting involved in the Strahd-esque campaign we were going to run through to the one I originally got invited to, the old Western-y one that you wanted to try and pull.
The noir one?
The noir one.
Where it's the 20-ish, the 1920s, but set in D&D type thing.
Yeah. Versus the one that I had you and John play over here. That was a great one. Nutsack. Yeah, the Gerblin that you kicked.
Dude, I have told so many people that fucking story. Hurl him across there. Ha! Caught him by his nutsack.
My favorite part was the fact, too, that you, after you guys cleared out what was remaining of, that little gang of goblins, you put this dude under, you put some pressure on him because you're in charge of this place, Nutsack. All of you will listen to Nutsack. He's the one that's going to be in charge. Yep. That's the memory I got. This fact, you then not only torment this Gerblin goblin, but you stretch him out and make him look like he belongs in Insane Clown Posse, and you put him in charge. So you had a patsy to go back to.
Yeah. You always, if you burn a bridge, you better make one.
Make one.
It's always good to have a goblin friend.
So all the way back in that time, were you already into D&D? Were you already playing before that?
I'd gone bits and pieces. I mean, really, I hadn't played. That was my first real time playing D&D.
Okay.
Because the most I ever got into D&D was in middle school when I accidentally, which I think I still have it, but I need to fucking find it. Mm-hmm. I accidentally found in the cafeteria a 2nd edition Player's Handbook.
That's cool. That's some
pristine
history.
Condition. And I took it. I don't know whose it was, but I took it.
Yeah.
I didn't even play Dungeons and Dragons, and I had heard about it.
But yeah. As much as people want to sit here and say, oh, well, you shouldn't be taking things that you're not stealing, at the moment, it's nobody else's.
It's middle school. Everyone's a fucking nightmare in middle school. Boys are stupid, and girls are bitches in middle school. You can't tell me they're not.
No, yeah.
I mean, I don't know how many people I've asked at work, because it's one of the running things I've asked people at work. It's what would you rather deal with? I usually ask the women this, and it's always the same answer. It's what would you rather deal with growing up? High school girls, middle school girls. High school girls, middle girls. This is all of them. Middle school girls are bitches. They're cutthroat. It's yeah, fair.
Yeah,
fair.
Middle school and that 12 to 14.
Well, that and it's they're coming into age.
Exactly.
Really.
It's the actual transition into not just puberty, but that sense of emotional development kind of thing, where it's it's just rampant hormonal, physical, bodily change, all that jazz, and it's crazy.
Not that dudes are any better.
No, but I mean, girls have so much more that goes on, and that's from either of us being married and haven't had a kid, so we've experienced that the changes that girls got to go through. And obviously, way back when it has to start, that I don't even want to fathom what that shit was like. The worst thing I had to deal with was I fit inside lockers. I mean, and that's I did. I fit inside of lockers, and
I didn't even fathom in my mind.
My fucking penis doesn't just start bleeding once a month. So I mean, it's not something I've got to experience.
God, I would freak the fuck out.
Absolutely. Who wouldn't?
I'm going out, bye. I'd go bitch real quick, real fucking quick. I would scream at the top of my lungs. Nope, hard pass. So yeah, but no, that's around when I really kind of got into it. I knew I had a few friends that had played it, and or more or less their parents had played it around that time. And this is first edition, when it fucking
old
came.
Gygax stuff.
Yeah, original beholder art shit.
Yeah, I've caught some YouTube stuff where they show first edition Gary Gygax.
I mean, for the time, awesome.
Yeah, for sure. I bet.
Now it's like, what the fuck is this?
Oh, yeah. But technology's done that.
See, I say that if I was to get a print size version, like frame wise, of the original Beholder art, I'd fucking hang it up.
Absolutely.
Fuck yeah, it's like, it looks ugly as shit, but that's a fucking
That's
Beholder.
historic. Yeah.
That's a fucking Beholder right there.
From a mind.
Yeah.
Like, no one had a base
like,
idea of what it's supposed to be.
doesn't exist anywhere until right here.
Yeah.
It's like, man, you loved Lovecraft, didn't you?
He
That's
must
some
have
Lovecraftian shit.
tentacles
right
and a floating eyeball of a disembodied, not even a head.
Yeah.
Just a circle with a mouth, and one eyeball,
Part
and
of
all
a head.
these tentacle eyes, part of a head.
But no, that's about when it's really kind of, I knew about it, more or less. And then I think I was working at Bowringer, as a matter of fact, and I knew we had a few friends that talked about it, like, oh yeah, I always wanted to play D&D and everything. So I was like, I randomly one day, I'm like, you know what? I've got a great idea for a campaign. It's like, fuck, I could run it.
Yeah.
That way people can actually play. How most DMs become DMs.
100%. The one.
Oh, we can't find a DM. I'll be the DM, so everybody can play now.
Exactly. You got that one person who's most interested in it, and they're like, I really want to play this, and they get 2 or 3 buddies that might want to play, that they're interested, they'll give it a try, and it's like, you don't have a choice.
Yeah.
You just get stiff-armed into DMing.
Forever DM.
Until you, I don't remember the last time I actually just sat and got to play versus having to DM it.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that. I don't mind. I got a crazy.
I'll say I love making up like the storylines and shit like that. But I just got a bunch of friends over. Spent money on the books, like the 5e books that was out at the time and are out now, and really just kind of looked it up, read it, and tried to figure out what I wanted to do. And it's just like, okay, fucking do it.
Yeah, when you got enough resources, you can always obviously.
Because that, and I always like doing because I went into like battle maps and minis and shit like that. It's like, because I like the more immersive, like, yeah, it's awesome if you try to role play and all that. Like, I like that. I try to do that myself, but it helps whenever you have like, oh hey, my mini's right here. I want to move this way around this
blockade
furniture and go through this door, and you can actually see it. That kind of helps with the immersion and the role playing, I think, because you can actually see it. It's like, oh yeah, this is going on. Because like I remember the group had. I told them one time, I was like, hey, I got this idea for like this long fucking like foresty area, and I found these 2, was it 6x3 battle maps, and it was forest area. And I had a bunch of like trees and like fake trees and shit like that. Like bought like a thing where it's like mouse pads, like the material, but it was like rivers and you could just lay it out. And the battle maps were gridded and like the 5 foot.
The 5 foot, yeah.
And they're like, yeah. And I was like, hey, if you guys can maybe like put in on it with me, because that'll be for them.
Oh yeah,
like it's for us. It'll just be awesome. And they're like, yeah, we do that. So I got 2 fucking 6x3 battle maps. And I had 2 or 3 tables sprawled out for like one session. Didn't tell them when it was going to happen. And they just come down, like from one end of my basement to the other was one map.
That's awesome.
And I had their minis, because everybody went and got like their own custom minis that look like their characters. And I was like, yep, this is our session tonight. Make it through the fucking forest. Because there was what was going on and everything in the story. It was like, oh yeah, you're hunting for this astral bear that's connected to the god of the hunt, and which brought up one of the better moments. I wish being a newer DM, I played kind of rules wise, but now I would have let this slide because it would have been way better. How I had it set up, the god of the hunt was like arrogant. It's like Gaston. Think of like Gaston.
Nice. Okay.
Just like an arrogant fuck. Pretty much. I'm full of myself. Look at my muscles. Women are stupid.
Not a man if you don't have muscles, John Beeman.
Like, got him. But we did that, and one of my friends, Caleb, he was playing a Dragonborn Bard, I believe, which he loves playing Dragonborns, which I fucking love too.
That's what he is right now, isn't he?
Yeah. But he had really good charisma, and persuasion was high. And it's like, oh yeah, well, if it turns out there was a rock that contained some of the god's power, more or less like the godhood passed from person to person when they killed the other god, more or less. And this was the thing that killed the last god, just bonked him on the head with a rock or something like that.
Nice.
Kind of like Cain and Abel type
Yeah.
thing. But he didn't know that's what held the power. The god didn't. So the god ends up getting this rock that they had just got, and they're like, "Oh, we need to get the rock back." And Cain's like, "I'm gonna roll for persuasion or whatever they did." And he's like, "Okay." He's like, "Bet you can't break that rock." So being that this guy is super fucking arrogant, I was like, roll with advantage. Roll with advantage.
You're goading.
He got that far from where I had it set. And I was like, well, he throws it up, he goes to get it, but he had like a pet griffin that was with him, and the griffin somehow stopped it. And it's like, man, if I would have played that back, I would have let that happen. It's like, yeah, this fucking arrogant asshole just killed himself.
That would have been great.
I was like, oh, that, and it's like, that was good. Like, that's good thinking. Like, bitch, you can't break this.
That's
He's like, bitch, you can't break this. No balls. No balls. Bet. But yeah, that was one of the funnier moments from the whole thing. And then one of the dudes that we had too, Brian, he was playing a Kinku at the time. Like, their trait was like mimicry.
Okay.
Like, they can only hear what they've heard before, like parrot type talk.
Yeah.
So he would kind of every now and then he just chirp and shit. Like, he role played it pretty good. He role played it real good. Well, they ended up running to a supreme sorcerer or something like that. He was a necromancer, and he did something to where it's like, oh yeah, you can go ahead and talk normally for like a little bit. This motherfucker went off on the whole party. Like, you motherfucker, you give me shit for because I can't talk right. And I was like, oh my god, this is fucking great. Like, just went off.
An in character.
Oh, in character
so
ran at
great.
everybody. It was
awesome.
so good. I'm like, yes, fuck yes. But we did that, and then like I said, I really like storytelling, and so I have like books at home for like different campaign settings that would be awesome to do. Or I have an idea for it, and I'd write it down.
Yeah, I really love that you were able to share with me that Kickstarter one, that Vinland.
Oh yeah, that's fucking awesome, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm stoked to shit, and I really love the way that I was able to get to pull the cedar.
Oh yeah, their druid.
I fucking hope that I get an opportunity to start popping back in there.
Yeah, no, that's the one I'm wanting to get started up again. But yeah, it's like, because I got that through drivethrurpg.com.
Nice.
And you can buy all this stuff, and you can buy it just like PDF, so it's cheaper.
Yeah.
And
print what you need.
Yeah, I was like, what the hell? This is like, I looked at it and I'm like, this is pretty cool. And they have like scenario books and shit like that. And I was like, well, this sounds really cool. And once I got it, I really looked into it. I was like, oh, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah, I love
this.
That one in particular is its own. It's got its own little campaign.
Oh yeah, it's like
a map and everything.
Well, that and it takes like the Viking setting, but like
semi-historical
and makes it its own in a way. Like, I don't know, it was fucking cool when I looked at it. Like, oh yeah, because a lot of times like there's certain campaigns that I've wrote up where it's like, yeah, certain races will probably work for this and whatever. But a lot of times it's like, yeah, just be what you want. I mean, everybody wants to play D&D.
Yeah, do you prefer now, with the experiences that you've had, homebrew over rules?
I have
lawyering?
never ran a scenario adventure. I've always done homebrews.
Fuck yeah.
I mean, I have like all the scenario books.
I've seen them, and you have this fantastic stack.
Like, I went hard when I got into it. I went hard. But, I mean...
It's an easy pit to fall in.
God damn. Wizard of the Coast just took all my money.
I bet.
But I still keep buying them. But no...
And it doesn't help the way they come out with stuff as far as Xanathar's Guide to Everything, and then the Tales
probably
of
like
the
my
Honorable
favorite character in D&D lore is Xanathar.
Nice.
I fucking love Xanathar.
Everybody, thanks for tuning in to this part 2. Don't worry, we will have plenty more for you coming up in part 3.